All right, what's more likely coming out of the NFC North, the Vikings and the Lions specifically? What's more likely, Kirk Cousins plays the next 2 seasons with the Vikings or is traded, Chris?
I'm going to say he plays the next 2 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. I am. Again, we've hit a few of these guys lately. I know, Derek Carr and everybody else, but he's a fringe top 10 quarterback, and he makes plays for your offense. It's just tell me better options out there. Listen, I know if you can trade and get Deshaun Watson, cool. Russell Wilson, great. But, I don't think that's realistic. So, Kirk Cousins, you can win with. So, I think he's going to stay there the next 2 years. What do you think there, Minnesota fan?
I think he's staying. I think he's staying because trading him, unless you do get some sort of a superstar-level guy that creates a ton of excitement and gets ownership to say, we understand that it's going to be difficult to get the most out of this right away, that secures Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman for another year. I hate to be this cynical about it, but I've been covering the sport for 20 years. There's an element of what decision is more likely to get me fired. And if you trade Kirk Cousins and you don't have a great replacement, you're more likely to get fired after this year.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is more likely to save Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman. So, yeah, they're more likely to keep him, even if it means that they're going to pay him $35 million next year, fully guaranteed, and it becomes fully guaranteed the third day of the league year, March 19 of this year. And Cousins told us on PFTPM week of the Super Bowl, he didn't come out and say it this way, but the message unavoidably was, I'm not doing anything with my contract. I'm not extending it. I got 2 years left, and you know what? 2 years from now, he's going to hit the open market again. The Vikings will not use the franchise tag on him. He'll be entitled to a 44% raise over his cap number as of 2022 because he's been tagged twice before. That stays with you from team to team. And, they're stuck. They're stuck. And it's 2 years left with Kirk Cousins to go with the 3 that he's already played, and he's made it to the playoffs once in 3 years. So I bet they'll do it again this year. I bet they'll get back. They won't get very far, but it'll be enough to justify the one more year, and then they make their decisions after 2022 at quarterback, Chris.
Yeah, I don't think that's, crazy thought, certainly. He's played, again, I don't think we viewed last year's team as a playoff caliber team to going into the year with all the changes they made on the defensive side of the ball, trading Stephon Diggs. But, hey, they made it competitive there for a little while where you went, ooh, are they going to get back in this thing? And, of course, he was a big part of it. The one thing I'll say about Kirk Cousins, he is a really good down-the-field thrower. He doesn't throw a lot of, dink and dunk easy passes. We watched all year. It's play action, bootleg. Whoa, there's a 25-yard deep cross to Justin Jefferson. Whoa, there's a 40-yard post to Adam Thielen. The degree of difficulty of his throws, it's pretty up there on the Richter scale, and he delivers more times than not.
I don't know that the Richter scale would be the scale, but for the degree of difficulty. But regardless of that, they have a special talent in Justin Jefferson. And I think as we're in this period of the offseason where guys are coming up with ideas, coaches are brainstorming, showcase Justin Jefferson. Let's not bring back the Randy ratio. Vikings fans of the mid-2000s may remember that failed effort by Mike Tice. You don't force it to the guy, but let's use him more aggressively and extensively than they did last year. What's more likely, the Vikings sign Anthony Harris, team safety who was franchise tagged last year, to a long-term deal before free agency starts, or he ends up with another team?
I think he's going to end up staying there. I don't know how you feel. It's a tough one for me. There's always a lot of – they're not in the best salary cap situation. But it is Mike Zimmer. We know how he values the secondary. Harrison Smith is, getting up there in years. I'm gonna say that Anthony Harris finds his way back in Minnesota. What do you think there?
Well, I think last year was the time to do it. The problem is when you tag him once at $11.4 million and you don't work out a long-term deal. And I think the failure to work out a long-term deal resulted directly from the fact that the Vikings didn't want to value the long-term deal based on the franchise tag number. This year, I'm going to do the math real quick, $11.44 million last year. This year, it's $13.7 million to tag him. That's also relevant because that's the starting point for the long-term deal. I think that they may not tag him.
Yeah.
And he may head to a place like Cleveland where he'd reunite with Kevin Stefanski. There was talk last year the Browns trading for him after he was tagged.
Actually, I'll change my answer. I think you're right. He's not going to be there. I don't. They got too many other things they got to worry about. They got Harrison Smith. I think as I sat there and talked that out myself, no, they got some young guys in the secondary. They got Harrison Smith. They got two good middle linebackers. They need defensive line help. That's one thing they need for sure. They got to really all across the board. So I'll change my mind. You're right. He's not going to be there this year.
And he's going to be 30 in October.
You
think of him as the young guy, but he was undrafted.
I heard Pete say that. Yeah.
Yeah, they coached him up, and I think there's a point where you just have to say, we can find another guy that will coach up again, that he's a product of our system and our coaching, and we can find someone else that's that lump of clay we can mold into the kind of defensive back that we want. All right, let's go to Detroit real quickly. What's more likely, Jared Goff proves us all wrong, or he's cut after 1 year with the Lions?
If you're going to give me one of those two choices right there, I'm going to go cut after 1 year. I don't think he's going to prove us all wrong. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. I've seen enough film. I would be shocked. It would have to be a drastic change in his game, his throwing, his feel in the pocket, and really, even for a guy like him who wasn't asked to do a ton, he wasn't the greatest at managing the games either. So if you're going to give me one of those two options, I'm going he's cut after next year.
The guaranteed money spills into 2022, and certain elements of it. I'd have to look it up again. Yeah. It was well over $40 million for 2 years, and certain elements of it don't have an offset obligation, so they
might be stuck. Okay,
they might be stuck. It could be benched after 1 year. Could be they keep him around. Could be they do a hot potato trade to someone else after 1 year. But I have a feeling that this is a 2-year commitment, whether he plays well or not in 2021. I just don't think the Lions are expecting much anything from the team this year. They're consciously taking a step back. So I don't think that Goff's performance would fairly be judged based on 1 year as getting rid of him. So I think he's there for at least 2 years.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.